What's up, you guys? How's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back, squad. It's me, your host again, Keith, man of letters, knowledge, information, entertainment. You know the deal. Whatever part this is, outwitting the devil, interview with the devil, Napoleon Hill, trying to figure out how the devil operates. Ooh, the Southern draws are already coming at. Um, damn, you guys. Every time we do this book, for some reason, weird shit happens. Probably because the devil doesn't want his secrets coming out. So we're gonna burn some Palo Santo to start this bad boy off, just in case. A little bit of this action here, huh? Let's go ahead and dance it around a little bit. What up? Welcome, readings by Candlelight. You guys, how's it going? What it do? Spiritu Santo, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. That's Gospel of Michael, Mark, John. What up? Shout out, Blood of Christ. Anywho, um, that's enough. Palo Santo ash in the eyeballs. We shall carry on. Uh, yeah. Welcome back, you guys. As per usual, about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes before we kick the live off, just to give people a chance to filter in. There's probably not even anyone in the room yet, so I'm talking to myself as per usual. Not much different than any other time of the day. If you're new, hit the subscribe button below. Click the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do cool shit like this, because we do cool shit like this all the time. And it would be nice to have the family grow a little bit bigger. But for all my old squad who are checking back in, if you would like to help support the channel, you guys know the deal. In the description box below, we got my PayPal. You can chip in $1 or $2 so I can buy noodles for dinner. You can support me on Patreon. The link is just a click away in the description box. Bada bing, bada boom. I got an Etsy shop where I distill my own essential oils and make magical hair products and lucid dreaming products in particular are my favorite, but all kinds of things. Know what I mean? We do all kinds of things. So, we're done with the self promo. Take your shoes off, stay a while. We went ahead and packed ourselves up some oregano because y'all know how we do oregano. First up, a glass of wine. I forgot the glass of wine, but we have the bottle here. Might as well just give her a little swiggeroony. I've got some noodles in the microwave because we're balling on a budget at the moment. So this video might turn into a mukbang pretty soon, which is not a weird hentai fetish porn. It's a thing where people watch other people eat things online. Strange. I guess the Asians are into it, which is why it has an Asian name, like mukbang. Anywho, that's beside the point. The point is, welcome back. It's Tuesday, so we're getting over the first sort of push of the week, and yeah, that does it. Also, if you guys see me staring at my phone, I'm checking you guys' comments. So I'm pulling them up as we speak. Hope you guys are having a good start to the week. So I'm pulling them up as we speak. Hope you guys are having a good start to the week. Spooky. So I'm pulling them up as we speak. Hope you guys are having a good start to the week. Super spooky. Super meta right here. So I'm pulling them up as we speak. How weird is this? super, if you can't, super meta right here. I feel like it's an LSD trip. All right, it's enough of that. It's getting weird. Whoa, whoa, whoa! How do I make it stop? Make it stop! All right. Oh shit! There's hella people in here. What it do, Squadron? How you guys doing? Y'all is jumping into lives quick these days. Looks like that notification bell's paying off, ain't it? China White, what up, fam? First, I've been seeing you go live a whole bunch of times, and I haven't had a chance to tune into them, but you got some interesting stuff. You guys should go check out China White's YouTube channel if you haven't already, because it's pretty damn interesting. Phoenix King, yo 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 yo. Oh, sorry, China. No, I've been busy. It's been been a busy week. Been a busy week. Oh shit, John Smith, you made it. You're supposed to be on vacation with the fam, man. John Smith, you don't have to be here tonight. I appreciate it, but you should be chilling on vacay with the fam, my dude. Andy T, this is a good week to This is a good week to the hell was I saying? Oh, to do a shared live for two reasons. One, baby mama and babes are up north at the moment. Two, what was two? Oh, YouTube Live is switching. I'm not going to be able to broadcast YouTube Live from Google Hangouts starting August 1st, which is just shy on a couple weeks from now, which means I might not be, or I'm going to have to do some weird shit to get you on the live, basically. So we should do it sooner than later. Is off at camp. So I got all night. All right, man. Nice. Hello, Patricia. Guys, we're going to hear from the devil himself again tonight. And the last one was super good. Super, super good, actually. Talking about drifters, talking about... Here's a thought. What I've been doing maybe more or less the past, probably going on maybe 2 or 3 years now, is looking at spirituality in particular, so sort of the new age wave in particular, and being very skeptical of it and seeing how... Okay, so let me give you some. The devil tells us truths. Interestingly enough. But the devil understands that all truths are but half-truths. So the devil tells us the truth that's on the dark side of the truth. Truth with a lowercase t, we'll call it. Almost like just enough truth to keep you hooked, right? Not so much to where you're free, but just enough to get you interested, intrigued. And I've been sort of doing that with spirituality and New Age-ism, if you will, in the sense that I'm toying with the idea that the devil, not the devil from the Bible, but maybe the devil from the Bible, is sort of spewing out half-truths. And this reading has been bringing that to light for me, but also keep in mind that what you seek, you shall find, as the Bible also says. And since I'm looking for that, they seem to pop up more often than not, and I'll give it that I might be finding things that aren't there, yada, yada, yada. Some friends become enemies, some enemies become friends. But if you will, for example, the devil talks about the drifters, which we've gone over a few times now. And the drifters are those that lack purpose. I think the next chapter we're reading is Definiteness of Purpose. Anywho, the drifter is he or she who lacks definite purpose, who can't make up their mind, or sort of leaves in the wind, constantly being blown around. Seaweed on top of the ocean, just kind of coming and going with the tide. Well, spirituality loves the idea of just go with the flow, right? Be like what Bruce Lee. Be like water, my friend. Water can crash or it can flow. Well, see, here's the thing. Again, the devil gives you just enough truth. Say, be like water. Oh, we'll use Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was like on some shit, and everyone likes Bruce Lee, so we'll use one of his quotes to slip in the dark side. Oh, be like water. Just flow. Take the easiest route every time. Be very fluid. Don't be rigid. Don't be stern. Don't be rigid. You gotta be flowy. Super feminine, right? Super nothing wrong with that, by all means. I love feminine. Probably more than most. That being said, to operate from the feminine 24/7 is a terrible idea because it's only one side of existence and we need fucking balance in our lives. Otherwise, we're taking one step forward and one step back. We can't get anywhere doing that. We need a blend. Some people lean towards other sides, but we have to agree that you can't live from one side of the coin your entire life. So that's what happens with spirituality, and drifters in particular, is that I'm trying to figure out why New Ageism always wants you to go with the flow, right? So take it like this, right? If you're always going with the flow, it's easy. It's easy to go with the flow because the flow is already going. Think of the lazy river. They're basically spirituality just says jump in the lazy river. Why do all the work? The flow is already going. Might as well use it to your advantage. Yes, that is true. That is true. However, if you don't know where the flow is going, you're fucked. You can't just go jumping in any old flow, in other words, right? You can't just hop in any old lazy river, because what if the river dumps you off in a pool of shit? You don't want to get taken to a pool of shit, but if you have no definiteness of purpose and you can't make decisions of your own and you want to constantly go with the flow, you're going to go with any old flow. And here's the thing. There are some smart motherfuckers out in this world, like your boy Man of Letters, who know that most of the people go with the flow and will use that to their advantage. Sometimes I might use it to my advantage, but for the most part, I don't use it to my advantage to be a dickhead. But some people do. And they know that people can't make decisions on their own volition. They know they can't have a definiteness of purpose. They know people are wishy-washy. They know people want to always go with the flow. So they masquerade as someone who can help them. They masquerade as someone with all the answers. They masquerade as the bringer of light, but are the devil in disguise. Can I get a fucking Ralph Smart, man? I can't drop one banger of a one-liner and not think of can I get a hello there forever, Ralph Smart, damn it. He kills it though. Anywho, yeah, that's just I'm rambling now, but look at this text in the lens of scrutinizing everything you've been taught, which is another thing the spirituality does, right? Question everything, except for what we're teaching you, right? Everyone always says, question everything except what I'm saying, because what I'm saying is the truth. But question everything else. No, motherfucker, question everything. Question me. It's your boy, Man of Letters. Question everything I say. Look this shit up. You know what Keith said the other day? It sounded like utter poppycock. I'm going to fact check that. Google, and then just Google shit, right? Start putting your own ideas together. Otherwise, you're useless. Otherwise, you're cannon fucking fodder. Otherwise, you're just a leaf blowing in the breeze. fucking around, hanging out in lazy rivers that weren't made by you. So here's how I would like. We'll start the live reading right now. If you guys are just jumping in the room, what up? Welcome to the squad. If you're new, introduce yourself. Here's what I proposed in my book. Ooh, another self promo. I wrote a book called 7 Pillars. Y'all should read it because it's the truth. Anywho, what I write about in the book is sort of, all right, we won't hate on going with the flow completely. We'll hate on that you should always go with the flow because always doing anything is a fucking terrible idea. It's far too rigid. Create your own flow, right? And this is where definiteness of purpose comes in. You have a definiteness of purpose, you have a definiteness of a goal, you know where you've been, you know where you want to be, you know what's going to happen if you don't meet your goal, right? I'm not going to have the money I want. I'm not going to have the freedom I want. My life is going to suck because it's going to look like this. You know that, right? So you know what your life is going to look like if you suck. But then you know what your life is going to look like if you meet that goal. All the things you're going to get: the job, the lover, the finances, the material wealth, the traveling, fucking growing your own sacred forest of trees, whatever the hell it is. Knowing that with a definiteness of purpose, of mind, pure mind willpower, almost again, so this is spirituality gets it right, that slip of truth. It almost gets existence to sort of unfold and lay out the way you want it, right? This is law of vibration type shit, which sucks as a name. I'll call it law of vibration so you guys know what I'm referring to, but it's more closely the law of vibration. So you have this definiteness of purpose that's reinforced with your thoughts and your actions on a daily basis, and the world sort of unfolds around you. You sort of start having these coincidences that are unexplainable. Run into people by chance. You have some sort of hiccup and you think, fuck. And instead of giving up, you charge on anyways with definiteness of purpose in mind, and shit just happens. Here's a good example. I'm growing a white sage farm, and I lost 2 plants because I sent them to Canada thinking I could send them to Canada. But you can't. Canada are a bunch of selfish bastards, and they destroyed my white sage plants and were like, you need a special certificate, eh? Otherwise, sorry, John Smith is from Canada. I'm just talking shit, John. I'm sorry. Anywho, Canada destroyed both my white sage plants, and so I lost shipping, which costs a lot to Canada, and I lost 2 sage plants, which costed me money. So I lost like $60 on that sale, basically. So I was supposed to make 60. I ended up losing 60. Negative. Anywho, I was like, instead of just giving up, obviously I'm not going to give up over something that small, but this is just a micro as compared to the macro, but as above, so below. Don't forget that. It's like, whatever, just go buy more plants, chalk it up as a loss. This is what happens. Fucking hiccups happen. You put your head down, you keep going anyways. I get to my boy at the nursery. He's like, oh, dude, I'll just give you some for free. Like, we had a bunch that didn't grow very well. So, like, they grew well, but they were stunted. He's like, I got to get them out, though, because I have the new batch coming. So just take them. And he gave me better prices. So I was like, shit, I lost 2. And the next day, I got like 6 for free. It's like, thanks, universe, right? So that's, of course, one measly example. But this happens on every scale, you guys. For some fucking reason, shit always works out as long as you're focused, you have your definiteness of purpose. And I'm rambling again. I guess we could start now. Can we start now? Is this a good time to start, you guys? How are we doing out there? I'm catching up with your comments. You guys have been busy. Hey, Alchemy, what up? Oh, Shira's going live right now, too. I know. I saw her go live, and I was like, no, I'm going live, too, right now. We're going to clash. But it's all right. I'm still reading your guys' comments. Thursday night, Andy T, perf. Guys, stay tuned. Andy T is on some lucid dreaming shit. And, you know, even though I don't make many lucid dreaming videos, I know I should do more, especially because they're super clickbaitable. Annie T's knows your shit when it comes to lucid dreaming, so we're gonna have a cool one if all goes according to plan Thursday night. My guess is 7 or 8 Pacific Standard Time, so probably late for you guys. Not set in stone, but possible. Stay tuned. A book called The Gems will come later on there. Phoenix, what up? Other than that, and a Full Metal Alchemist, seek the truth within the truth. What up to all y'all in the chat? Be sure to hit that like. Thanks, John Smith. Sorry for talking shit about Canada. I love you guys, even though you destroyed 2 of my sage plants. Damn, you found $20 on the ground, Alchemy. Good vibes only. I'm glad you resonate with this good vibes, because I like good vibes and I like resonating. She never catch me, copper. Serena, what up? Ralph Smart be stealing folks' videos. Glad you've been reading the book, John. Hell yeah, that's awesome. All right, you guys. So, who asked that question? Serena, this isn't a tarot reading. Maybe that's what a lot of people think when I'm doing stuff on here. They're like, "Oh, it's not a tarot reading. He's reading a book. What the hell is going on?" Not nearly as cool as I thought it was gonna be. But yeah, we're not reading tarot. I can't read tarot. I have a tarot deck, but I can't read tarot. So maybe I can like pull cards for you guys or something like that and just read out of the booklet. That's about all I got. Tonight I'm reading from a book called Outwitting the Devil. It's an excerpt from that book called Interview with the Devil, and it's a conversation between Napoleon Hill, writer of Think and Grow Rich. You might know him. It's an interview between him and the devil. And he supposedly got the devil to spill all of his secrets as to how he tricks the world into doing what he wants them to do. Ooh, my noodles are in the microwave downstairs, though. Ooh, blood magic. Nice. You came for the blood magic video, eh? I like your style. Okay, you guys ready? You guys ready to start the live? Let me pull it up. Interview with the devil. Text. Oh, it's actually Outwitting the Devil. My bad, not interview, outwitting. Okay, yada yada yada. Rada 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 rada. Rada rada. Hypnotic rhythm. Ooh, hypnotic rhythm. I get while I'm searching for this. Who's new? Who's is there? There's not many of you guys. Is there anyone in here who's this is their first reading by Candlelight? If there is, raise your hand, or in the comment section after this video, raise your hand, or not raise your hand. Maybe click the like button. I don't know. Seeds of Fear. We did Seeds of Fear. Definiteness of Purpose is the next chapter. Oh, no. We did Definition of Purpose. Nope, we're on education and religion. Just kidding. Doesn't sound very exciting, does it? I'll see if I can make it exciting for y'all in just a second. Education and religion seems to be a long chapter. A long chapter. Damn, the longest chapter. Whoa, it's forever long. Whew. Might need a couple breaks in this one, you guys. It's gonna be a longer one, so go pour yourself a glass of wine while you can. What's up, you guys? Stoked to have the opportunity to be able to read for you guys. I found that I really like reading out loud to people. I'm stoked. When my baby boy grows up, I'm gonna read him all the books. Actually, I'm gonna read him all the books now. I'm sure he can almost understand. John Smith, I just haven't had a chance to buy The Botanist. The Botanist, you guys, is a really tasty gin that I used to drink during the lives, but just haven't gotten it. So we're drinking wine tonight. Self elevation. Peace, brother. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I am your host, Keith, your man of letters, here to bring you knowledge, information, and a bit of entertainment. Hopefully, a lot of entertainment. A decent amount of entertainment. And I'm happy to present you guys with Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. However, this is an excerpt, interview with the devil. It's a good one. I will be reading for the next 20 to 30. I'll take a short break. I'll go get my noodles from the microwave, and then I will carry on. Some commentary during the reading, just to sort of reinforce the ideas and bring about concepts I find noteworthy. And if you haven't already, hit the like and the subscribe button. Leave a comment if you're not watching live. Love you guys. And we begin. Education and religion. This is pretty deep stuff, Your Majesty. Let us get back to the discussion of lighter and more concrete subjects that are likely to interest the majority of people. I am interested in discussing the things that make people happy and miserable, rich and poor, sick and healthy. In brief, I am interested in everything that can be used by human beings to make life pay satisfactory dividends in return for the effort that one puts into the business of living. Very well. Let us be definite. You have my idea. Your Majesty has a tendency to stray off into abstract details which most people can neither understand nor use in the solution of their problems. Could that by any chance be a definite plan of yours to answer my questions with indefinite answers? If that is your plan, it is a slick trick, but it will not work. Go ahead now and tell me something more of the miseries and failures of human beings growing directly out of indefiniteness. I want to comment on everything, but I can't because I'll be here all freaking night. Remember, I'll be quick. Remember at the beginning when I said, hey guys, spirituality and New Age might be the devil? I'm not saying it is the devil, I'm saying it might be the devil. And then I used some examples. Well, He said, "Hey, devil, you're so damn uh, abstract in your explanations. Could your abstract explanations be part of your plan to get everyone into the drifting mind? Because indefinite answers are abstract answers. Abstract answers are indefinite answers, and indefinite is not definite. And we need to be definite sometimes. How many of the spiritual YouTubers give hella abstract answers to fucking questions um, where they just talk and you're like, what fuck are you going on about? It's like, I keep seeing 444. What does it mean? It's like, change. It means change is coming. It's like, but I keep seeing twos. It means you're going to have lots of big things, new big things happening. New things happening. But I'm seeing the number 681. What does it mean? Oh, 681. It means that some stuff was as it was before, and some that those things are not going to be as they were before. They're going to be new things. So get ready for new experience. There's going to be some new in your life. New. I'm talking shit, but you catch my drift. Um, I don't know. I understand the need for abstract. I'm an abstract motherfucker. I'm an artist, a musician. I mean, fucking look at me. I pull from the abstract, but I define it on this side. Moving along. Why not permit me to tell you more of the pleasures and successes of people who understand and apply the principle of definiteness? I observe that sometimes people with definiteness of plan and purpose get what they ask from life only to find after they get it that they do not want it. What then? Generally, one can get rid of whatever is not wanted by application of the same principle of definiteness with which the thing was acquired. A life that is lived with fullness of peace of mind, contentment, and happiness always divests itself of everything it does not want. Anyone who submits to annoyance by things he does not want is not definite. He is a drifter. Ooh. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want, is what you just said, basically. I'm going to read that line again, actually. That's really important. He says, a life that is lived with fullness of peace in mind, contentment, and happiness always divests itself of everything it does not want. What about married people who cease to want each other? Should they separate, or is it true that all marriages are made in heaven and the contracting parties are, therefore, forever bound by their bargain, even though it may prove to be a poor one for both? First, let me correct that old saying that all marriages are made in heaven. I know of some which were made on my side of the fence. Minds with minds which do not harmonize should never be forced to remain together in marriage or any other relationship. Friction and all forms of discord between minds lead inevitably to the habit of drifting and, of course, to indefiniteness. Aren't people sometimes bound to others by a relationship of duty which renders it impractical for them to take from life what they want most? Duty is one of the most abused and misunderstood words in existence. The first duty of every human being is to himself. Every person owes himself the duty of finding how to live a full and happy life. Beyond this, if one has time and energy not needed in the fulfillment of his own desires, one may assume responsibility for helping others. Hmm. Isn't that a selfish attitude? And isn't selfishness one of the causes of failure to find happiness? I stand by my statement that there is no higher duty than that which one owes himself. Doesn't a child owe something in the way of duty to its parents who gave it life and sustenance during its periods of helplessness? Not at all. It is just the other way around. Parents owe their children everything they can give them in the way of knowledge. Beyond that, parents often spoil instead of helping their offspring by a false sense of duty which prompts them to indulge their children instead of forcing them to seek and gain knowledge at first hand. I see what you mean. Your theory is that too much help thrust upon the youth encourages him to drift and become indefinite in all things. You believe that necessity is a teacher of great sagacity, that defeat carries with it an equivalent virtue, that unearned gifts of every nature may become a curse instead of a blessing. Is that correct? You have stated my philosophy perfectly. My belief is not theory, it is fact. Then you do not advocate prayer as a means of gaining desirable ends? On the contrary, I do advocate prayer, but not that sort of prayer that consists of empty begging, meaningless words. That sort of prayer against which I am helpless is the power of definiteness of purpose. I never thought of definiteness of purpose as being a prayer. How can it be? I never thought of definiteness as effect, the only sort of prayer upon which one can rely. It places one in the way of using hypnotic rhythm to attain definite ends. By the mere act of appropriating it from the great universal storehouse of infinite intelligence. The appropriation, in case you are interested, takes place through definiteness of purpose, persistently pursued. Why do the majority of prayers fail? They don't. All prayers bring that forth which one prays. But you just said that definiteness of purpose is the only sort of prayer upon which one can rely. Now you say that all prayers bring results. What do you mean? There's nothing inconsistent about it. The majority of people who pray go to prayer only after everything else fails them. Naturally, they go with their minds filled with fear that the prayers will not be answered. Well, their fears are realized. The person who goes to prayer with definiteness of purpose and faith in the attainment of that purpose puts into motion the laws of nature which transmute one's dominating desires into their physical equivalents. That is all there is to prayer. One form of prayer is negative and brings only negative results. One form is positive and brings definite. Could anything be more simple? People who whine and beg God to assume responsibility for all their troubles and provide them with all necessities and luxuries of life are too lazy to create what they want and translate it into existence through the power of their own minds. When you hear a person praying for something that he should procure through his own efforts, you may be sure you are listening to a drifter. Infinite intelligence favors only those who understand and adapt themselves to her laws. She makes no discrimination because of fine character or pleasing personality. These things help people negotiate their way through life more harmoniously with one another, but the source from which prayer is answered is not impressed by fine feathers. Nature's law is know what you want, adapt yourself to my laws, and you shall have it. Bada bing, bada fucking boom. I'll drink to that. I'll drink to that, devil. Does that harmonize with the teachings of Christ? Perfectly. Also, it harmonizes with the teachings of all truly great philosophers. Is your theory of definiteness in harmony with the philosophy of men of science? Definiteness is the major difference between a scientist and a drifter. Through the principle of definiteness of purpose and plan, the scientist forces nature to hand over her most profound secrets. It was through this principle that Edison uncovered the secret of the talking machine, the incandescent electric light, and scores of other benefits for mankind. Then I understand that definiteness is the first requisite for success in all earthly undertakings. Is that right? Exactly. Anything which teaches people to examine facts and coordinate them into definite plans through accurate thinking is hard on my profession. If this thirst for definiteness and knowledge now spreading over the world keeps up, my business will be shot to pieces within the next few centuries. I thrive on ignorance, superstition, intolerance, and fear, but I cannot stand up under definite knowledge properly organized into definite plans in the minds of people who think for themselves. Why don't you take over omnipotence and manage the whole works in your own way? Well, you might as well ask why the negative portion of the electron doesn't take over the positive portion and run the entire works. The answer is that both the positive and the negative charges of energy are necessary to the existence of the electron. One is balanced equally against the other, stalemated as it were. So it is with what you call omnipotence and I. We represent the positive and the negative forms of the entire system of universes, and we are equally balanced one against the other. If this power of balance was shifted the slightest degree, the whole system of universes would become quickly reduced to a mass of inert matter. Now you know why I cannot take over the whole show and run it my way. That sort of answers. Hi, it's me, Keith again. Though this probably isn't my actual speaking voice, this is my showman voice. Not essential information. What just was mentioned in the previous paragraph has a lot to do with yin and yang, positive and dark, and the reason why polarities exist. And if you watched my others before, why I talk so much shit about YouTubers who keep talking about this thing that there's no polarity in the fourth dimension or the fifth dimension. You transcend polarity. Like there's no such thing as opposites anywhere in all of existence except for the third dimension. Like, right, there's an infinite amount of living space that they agree on, but we'll tell you in the next sentence that of all the infinite spaces of existence, the third dimension is the only place of differences. Like past that, there's no get the fuck out of here. You have to have one if you have the other. Light is defined by darkness. Happiness is defined by sadness. And when I say defined, I mean fucking literally defined. Like 90 degrees is hot. We'll say 100 degrees Fahrenheit is hot. 20 degrees Fahrenheit is cold. Cold defines hot, meaning it puts a definitive edge around it. It says this is where hot stops. Now, of course, that edge is subjective. Some people might think 50 degrees is chilling, in a good way chilling. And other people might think 50 degrees is chilling in a bad way chilling, like it's too cold, right? So that's up for debate, but there is a cold and there is a hot, right? And the line at which the cold ends is a line that defines hot in the metaphorical and the literal sense of the word. You cannot have one without the other. Like he says, if you take away borders, you take away definition, you take away polarity, poles, you get rid of all the space that separates everything, which means you go back to oneness. Hooray, ta-da, we've reached oneness, game over, right? Game over, exactly. But we want the game to be over. We want the game to keep going because we want existence. And to have existence out here, to have a different perspective of existence in a never-ending universe, you have to have differences in order to see the fucking never-ending experiences of their universe. Right? This candle is a candle because it's defined, but what makes a candle a candle? And if you take away that definition of what makes a candle, you take away the actual fucking electrons of the candle and it dissolves into everything else, which is why the devil says, if you were to take me away, that existence in all universes and all dimensions everywhere, all of existence, period, will reduce into inert, formless matter. There's nothing wrong with being formless because you have to be formless to create anything, right? You have to have the potential for infinity, you have to be starting with something that has an infinite amount of potential, which is not defined, right? So something that's not defined is okay to have. But again, that definiteness of purpose, think of it again, definiteness of purpose. Definiteness, keyword definite, actually keyword define, which is cutting out. To define something is to cut something out of and formulate it as its own thing. Whether that thing is a relationship, it's a house, it's a certain amount of money, it's a product that you're designing, it's a YouTube channel that you're creating. Your life that you want has a very specific tone to it, very specific frequency, vibration that manifests from the things that you buy, the wine that you drink or the wine that you don't drink, the conversations that you have, the thoughts you have, what you decide to write down, what you don't decide to write down, the choices you make, the choices you don't make. All of it has a little tone to it, has a little something to it. And piece by piece, you start putting your life together. The more defined your purpose is, literally the more cut out of the ether it is, the more real it becomes in this world. Shit. It was a long tangent. How you guys doing out there? You still with me? I would say hopefully I'm not putting you to sleep. But I actually don't mind when people fall asleep to my videos because some of my favorite things to listen to on YouTube are videos that I purposely fall asleep to. So, do you, boo-boo? That being said, we will carry on. I'll take a short break in maybe 10 minutes or so and come say what's up in the comment section, all right? Maybe make some noodles. Not sure. If you're just checking in, self-promo again, my bad. If you guys want to help, I have in the description box my PayPal if you want to shoot me some bread so I can buy some bread. The link is in there, or my Patreon. You can click on it and subscribe to my Patreon, which is a support platform for your favorite creators. Again, chip in some bread so I can buy some bread. Carrying on. Here we go. Yada, yada, yada. Choo, choo, choo. Went my way. Okay. If what you say is true, you have exactly the same power as omnipotence. Is that true? When he says omnipotence, he means God. I don't know why he doesn't say God. Maybe Napoleon Hill doesn't strike me as the verbatim religious type, because the verbatim religious type don't think for themselves. They just, whatever the clergy tells them, whether it's whatever clergy that may be, they just listen to them, right? Our God says this, obey, and the normie goes, you got it. Like, burn gay people alive, you got it. No questions asked. All right. That's cool, I guess. Anywho, so whenever you hear him say omnipotence, he means God. So the question is, if what you say is true, you have exactly the same power as omnipotence. Is that true? That is correct. My opposition, you call it omnipotence, expresses itself through the forces which you call good, positive forces of nature. I express myself through the forces you call bad, the negative forces. Both good and bad are coincidental with existence. One is as important as the other because rhythm compensates. You'll learn that if you just stick around minor letters long enough. There's a balance to all things. Oh, lost my spot. Where'd we go? Yada, yada, yada. Then the doctrine of predestination is sound. People are born to success or failure, misery or happiness, to be good or bad, and they have nothing to do with this, nor can they modify their natures. Is this your claim? Empathetically not. Every human being has a wide range of choice in both his thoughts and in his deeds. Every human being can use his brain for the reception and expression of positive thoughts, or he can use it for the expression of negative thoughts. His choice in this is important. It shapes his entire life. From what you have said, I gather the idea that human beings have more freedom of expression than either you or your opposition. Is that correct? That is true. Omnipotence and I are bound by immutable laws of nature. We cannot express ourselves in any manner not conforming to these laws. That's interesting. I've never thought about that before. Can God be anything but good, even if God decided to? If God represents good, and if the devil represents bad, can the devil ever be anything but bad? Or are they destined to be that way? I think the answer is they're destined to be that way. But I also think that the devil can't be stationary then. The devil can't be this one soul or this one entity that is the devil for all eternity. Maybe souls change as they do, but I guess when the next devil takes over, he's now the devil. Loses all formal titles and becomes quote unquote devil, the manifestation of the other side of the pendulum that we cannot refute, cannot ever get rid of. We can't ever get rid of bad things. We can get rid of things that are. Here's the thing: we can't get rid of bad things, but we can rise the degree. We can rise the scale. Because remember how everything's relative, right? So say you have. Let's go back to temperature. 50 is cold compared to 100 degrees, right? Um, but you could raise it to 60 degrees. 60 degrees is a lot more comfier than 50, but compared to 100, it's still pretty cool. Right? You can raise the whole scale. Um, for example, I was just talking to my dad about this earlier today, actually. How today is the safest time to ever be alive as a human being. There are less wars, there are less people dying at war, there are less rapes, there are less murders, there are less villages getting raided and pillaged and plundered at 3 o'clock in the morning by horseback. People just, the standard of living has gone up, despite what the media will make you think that the world is going to hell. Capitalism is destroying everything. You know what I mean? And it's like we've had, like, again, if you look at the stats and get out of your emotions, you'll be like, oh, actually, the world is fucking awesome. Yeah, there's shitty things going on, and if you focus on only those shitty things, the world will seem like a shitty place. Fair enough, because there are shitty parts of the world. But if you take the whole thing into consideration, you say, oh, everything is way down. We haven't got rid of the bad, but we've raised the scale. People are still getting murdered, not as many of them. Not as many of them. People are still getting raped, not as many of them. People are still poor, not as many of them. So do with that what you will, and we will continue. Okay. Then it is true that man has rights and privileges not available to either omnipotence or the devil. Is that the truth? Yes, that is true, but you might well have added that man has not yet fully awakened to the realization of this potential power. Man still regards himself as something resembling the worms in the dust, when in reality he has more power than all of the living things combined. Definiteness of purpose seems to be a panacea for all the evils of man. Not that perhaps, but you may be sure no one will ever become self determining without it. Why aren't children taught definiteness of purpose in the public schools? For the reason that there is no definite plan or purpose behind any of the school curricula. Children are sent to school to make credits and learn how to memorize, not to learn what they want out of life. What good is a school of credit if one cannot convert it into the material and spiritual needs of life? I am only a devil, not an unwinder of riddles. I deduce from all you say that neither the schools nor the churches prepare the youths of the world with a practical working knowledge of their own minds. Is anything of more importance to a human being than an understanding of the forces and circumstances which influence his own mind? The only thing of enduring value to any human being is a working knowledge of his own mind. The churches do not permit a person to inquire into the possibilities of his own mind, and the schools do not recognize that such a thing as a mind exists. Aren't you a little hard on the schools and the churches? No, I am merely describing them as they are, without bias or prejudice. Aren't the schools and the churches your bitter enemies? Their leaders may think they are, but I am impressed only by facts. The truth is this, if you must know it. The truth is this, if you must know it. The churches are my most helpful allies, and the schools run the churches. A close second. On what specific or general grounds do you make this claim? On the grounds that both the churches and the schools help me convert people to the habit of drifting. Do you realize that your charge is substantially a sweeping indictment of the two institutions of major importance which have been responsible for civilization in its present form? Do I realize this? Man alive, I gloat over it. If the schools and churches had taught people how to think for themselves, where would I be now? This confession of yours will disillusion millions of people whose only hope for salvation is in their churches. Isn't that a cruel thing to do to them? Wouldn't most people be better off living in the bliss of ignorance than to know the truth about you? What do you mean by the term salvation? From what are people being saved? The only form of enduring salvation that is worth a green fig to any human being is that which comes from recognition of the power of his own mind. Ignorance, fear, these are the only enemies from which men need salvation. You seem to hold nothing sacred. You are wrong. You seem to hold nothing sacred. You are wrong. I hold sacred the one thing which is my master, the one thing I fear. What is that? The power of independent thought backed by definiteness of purpose. Then you do not have many people to fear? Only 2 out of every 100 to be exact. I control all others. Let's give the churches a rest and get back to the public schools. Your confession has shown clearly that you thrive and perpetuate yourself from one generation to another by the clever trick of taking over the minds of children before they have the chance to learn how to use their own minds. I wish to know what is wrong with the public school system that permits the devil to control so many people. I wish to know also what can be done to establish the system of teaching that will ensure all children the opportunity to learn. First, that they have minds. Second, how to use those minds to bring spiritual and economic freedom. I am putting the question to you definitely enough. And since you have stressed the importance of definiteness of purpose, I am here and now putting you on notice that your answer to my question must also be definite. Wait a moment while I catch my breath. You have given me quite an order. It seems strange that you would come to the devil to learn how to live. I should think you would go to my opposition. Why don't you? Your Majesty, it is you who are on trial here, not I. I want the truth, and I am not particular as to the source from which I get it. Well, that's a fucking great answer, you guys. Holy shit. That's a goddamn good answer. Put that on a t-shirt. John Smith, write that down. We're putting that on a minor letters T. The devil goes, well, you've asked me quite a question, Napoleon. You're coming to the devil to learn how to live? Isn't that what your God is for? Napoleon Hill says, first of all, bitch ass, you're on trial, not me. Second of all, I want the truth. I want the truth, and I am not particular as to the source from which I get it. Mic drop. All right, I'll pick this back up. My bad. Sorry if you guys are wearing headphones and I just fucked up your whole eardrum. My bad. Not sorry. It's gonna happen again. But let's I'll finish this and then I'll take it. He said, I want to know the truth. I'm not here. I don't care where I get it from. There is something radically wrong with the system of education that has given us a balance sheet with life that shows us hopelessness in the red and groping for the road to self-determination as if it were so many animals lost in the jungle. I want to know two things about this system. First, what is the major weakness of the system? Second, how can this weakness be eliminated? The floor is yours again. Please stick to the question and stop trying to decoy me into the discussion of deep, abstract subjects. That's definite, is it not? You leave me no choice but that of a direct answer. To begin with, the public school system approaches the subject of education from the wrong angle. The school system endeavors to teach children to memorize facts, instead of teaching them how to use their own minds. Is that all that is wrong with the school system? No, that is only the beginning. Another major weakness of the school system is that it has not established in the minds of children either the importance of definiteness of purpose or make any attempt to teach youths how to be definite about anything. The major object of our schooling is to force the students to cram their memories with facts instead of teaching them how to organize and make practical use of facts. This cramming system, this this cramming system centers the attention of students on the accumulation of credits but overlooks the important question of how to use knowledge in the practical affairs of life. This system turns out graduates whose names are inscribed upon parchment certificates but whose minds are empty of self-determination. The school system got off to a bad start at the beginning. The schools began as institutions of higher learning, operated entirely for the select few whose wealth and family entitled them to education. Thus, the entire school system was evolved by beginning at the top and working back down to the bottom. It is no wonder the system neglects to teach children the importance of definiteness of purpose when the system itself has literally, if almost English, has literally, how would you say that as this? When the system itself has literally evolved through indefiniteness. I'm gonna have to take a break right there, you guys. Damn. Give me a second to catch up with you guys' comments. I do like reading the comments, I'm not gonna lie. I like reading them a lot. So get some water if you have to. Use the restroom. Catch up. Too sweet for still here. What up? Oh, she took off. Jenny P, Alchemy, John Smith, Art Campos. What up, Jenny P, Alchemy, Serena. Ooh, if you guys like the music, sorry, it's on loop. It's been on loop for like an hour now. I wrote a cool, spooky song. I didn't write lyrics to it yet, but it's just there. You should read it. Yes, you guys should actually all read the Bible. If you're into this kind of shit, you need to read the Bible. Not for the sake of just entertainment. Like just read it for the sake of storytelling, because there are some fucking wild stories. And whether you're religious or not, believe in it or not, it's useful. There's a lot of information in there, and you should know it. Especially considering how much of the Bible has shaped humanity to this day, fucking 2,000 years later. You guys should definitely know what it actually says, because you would be blown away. Happily ever after. How's it going? Good point, Phoenix. Chaotic and masculine. Yeah, absolutely. Serena, yeah, that's pretty about reshaping the school system. We don't want to get our child vaccinated. Whole separate fucking video for that. And it's fucking so stupid. Like you know how they slammed like, measles outbreak in Southern California, Disneyland. Like, oh my god, headline measles outbreak. Something like 1,187 people got measles. Ask me how many of them died. Go ahead. Ask me. Hey Keith, how many of those people that got measles? How many of them died? None. Not fucking one single one of those people that got measles died. You want to know why? Because measles doesn't fucking kill people. Like, of course it kills people, but it kills people like the flu kills people. Are you super old? Do you have a depressed immune system? Is your liver working? Are your kidneys failing you? Are you a healthy person? Because if you are, you're gonna make it out alive. If you're not a very healthy person, then yeah, measles might take you out. Just like, yeah, the flu might take you out if you're a shitty person. But the whole fucking vaccination thing, man, like some 60 vaccinations they want me to give my kid. Mind you, none of them, 2 of them have been tested on children. They haven't tested all but 2 of these vaccinations because, of course, it's unethical to pump viruses into babies, right? It's unethical to pump heavy metals into babies because heavy metals destroy nervous systems and destroy development in babies. So it would be fucked up to test them on babies, which makes sense to me. So they don't test vaccinations on babies, let alone what all 60 vaccinations do to babies and what they do when they are mixed with each other. And then the new cocktail of mixed vaccinations. They haven't tested what that does to babies. And it's like, okay, well then I'm just not gonna get him vaccinations. Fuck it. But they're like, oh well, your kid can't go to school if he's not vaccinated. Fuck you guys, he can't go to school because he's not vaccinated. How about this? If you don't want your kid to get the measles, give him the vaccination. That's the whole fucking point, right? You don't want to get it. It's supposed to work so well, so why can't your kid just get the vaccine and mine not? Boom, win-win. Your kid doesn't get the measles. My kid Probably he doesn't get the measles, but if he does, for 10 days he's got a rash and a fever. Big fucking deal. I don't know. That was my rant. But I'm gonna go get the noodles from the microwave because I'm hungry as fuck. So this break is continuing. On a lighter note, you know what's cool about doing lives is I don't have to wear anything from the bottom down. I'm literally just chilling in my boxers, but you guys would never know because I'm on camera. So I could be wearing a onesie. I could be wearing long johns right now with the flap open, and you guys would never know. All right, what up, y'all? Look. Me back. Me is back. Shit. Hey, Sundabona Senjay. I have no idea how to pronounce your name. Wishing you peace, love, and chicken grease. Ooh, 11:11. Came back just in time. I'm gonna eat a couple noodles, couple morsels, and then we'll get back into it. All right, y'all. Sunda. We're almost done, you guys. What up, Pops? The plants in the greenhouse were good. I water everything, but I'm on a live right now. Okay. Sunda. All right, my bad. Sunda. Thanks, Sunda. I like how, if you guys just checked in, I'll read it in a second. I'm taking a quick break because I got hungry as hell and this was a long chapter. But the candles are still going, the readings are still going, the knowledge dropping is still going, the merrymaking is still going, the oregano burning is still going if you want to join in. We might have to have a group oregano burn before we start. First of all, thank you guys for chilling and supporting the channel. I'm literally not even doing anything, just sitting here eating, and y'all are still kicking it. That means a lot. It really does. Serena, I was born on the 13th of April. Crystal Strong, what up? I hope you got strong crystals. No, these noodles, these are actually noodles from Vons. They're the udon noodles that you buy. Like they're like bougie couple noodles. They're super good though. Give me like another 2 minutes, you guys. Just another 2 minutes, and we'll crack it off. Oh, Crystal Strong, you like the gym? Yeah, if you guys know what Crystal's talking about, she said she liked the dream drops. I have a dream drops that I sell on my Etsy channel. Did some straight alchemical voodoo shit. Not voodoo, but. And they look like this. And it's a combination of Mexican drug. Almost said Mexican drug lord. Mexican dream herb. Mexican dream herb, and which is bitter. So it's something bitter, as Crystal can attest to. It's super bitter, but it works really well. It's that and mugwort. Um, Artemisia vulgaris is the variety of mugwort that I used. Oh my goodness. I can't get enough of good noodles, you guys. Like when I'm balling hard and I have like my personal chef, at the interview I'm gonna say sir or ma'am or gender neutral, whatever the hell, I don't know what fucking kids are doing these days. Human. I'm gonna say human. Do you make noodles? And then judging upon the response, I'm gonna hire them or not. That's how much I like noodles. Think you're practicing voodoo? You practicing voodoo? You might be practicing voodoo though, to be fair. All right, no more noodles. We're done. We're gonna start. I'll answer this your last couple questions. Do I teach my children about magic? Well, my child is only 5 months old, so I haven't quite taught him about magic yet. But if by magic you mean like witchcraft shit, no, I don't really partake in the witchcraft sort of magic. I'm more on the transmutation, mental alchemy side of magic. As I don't know if you how much you follow the channel, but hermetics is my forte. So I would say I follow the philosophical side of magic. Damn, those noodles got me hot. But you best believe I'll be teaching the shit out of that child everything I know. Well, not hopefully not everything I know. Hopefully just the good things of what I know. But you can only do what you can do, you know. So, anywho, I'm not. I'm trying to have my simple altar, and they think because I ain't Christian, I'm worshiping the devil. That's the problem with the hardcore religious people. It's like if you're not them, you're the exact opposite of them. And there's no. That's the problem with fucking fanatics. You guys gotta be careful. Anyone that's an extremist or a fanatic about anything, politics, religion, even fucking points of view, anything that's not their point of view is the exact opposite point of view. There's like no fucking middle ground with fanatics. Anywho, carrying on, we will continue and hopefully finish soon because I'm getting tired of talking, believe it or not. And I would not like to watch Netflix and chill. So, where are we at? Self-determination and cramming this whole. Okay. How much more do we have? Fuck, there's still so much more, you guys. God damn. It's like 4, 5 pages left still. 6 pages left still. All right, well, I guess let us proceed. What would correct this weakness of the public school system? Let's not complain of the weakness of the system unless we are prepared to offer a practical remedy with which it can be corrected. In other words, while we are discussing the importance of definiteness of plan and purpose, let us take our own medicine and be definite. Why don't you lay off the schools and churches and save yourself plenty of trouble? Don't you know that you are poking your nose into the affairs of the two forces that control the world? Suppose you do show up, the schools and the churches, as being weak and inadequate for the needs of human beings. What then? With what are you going to replace those two institutions? Stop trying to evade my questions by the old trick of asking a counter question. I do not propose to replace the schools and churches, but I do propose to find out, if I can, how these organized forces can be modified so they will serve people instead of keeping them in ignorance. Go ahead now and give me a detailed catalog of all the changes in the public school systems which could improve it. So you want the entire catalog, do you? Do you want the suggested changes in the order of their importance? Describe the changes needed just as they come to you. You are forcing me to commit an act of treason against myself, but here it is. Reverse the present system by giving children the privilege of leading in their schoolwork instead of following orthodox rules designed only to impact abstract knowledge. Let instructors serve as students and let the students serve as holy hopscotch, Batman. See what I'm saying? I'm never going to finish this if I keep going on tangents, but I got to be quick. Toph said, let the students teach. In my botany class, it was the first time I'd ever scored over 100% at the end of the semester. I had like 108% when I handed in my final. Like, I fucking killed that class. Something changed. Through the semester, my teacher said, the best way to learn something is to teach it. And I thought, huh, interesting, Garcon. Continue. And he basically, that was pretty much it. But he said, you got to teach. In order to teach something, you have to know it in a certain way. And here's the thing when it comes to teaching something. We all have our own ways of teaching, right? Or not even teaching. Don't even think of it in terms of teaching. Think of it in terms of explaining something. We all have our own way of explaining something. So in order for me to teach someone something out of the textbook, I had to understand it my way because I had to teach it my way. So I studied it differently. I wrote it down differently. I categorized it in my brain differently, knowing I had to tell someone else this information, meaning I had to refine the information, meaning I had to get rid of what was unnecessary, get rid of what made things more difficult or more confusing. I had to be concise, which means I had to be thoroughly understanding of the material in order to be able to pick it apart and move it around. And what I learned was I could memorize everything verbatim. I could explain it inside out if I had it in my mind that I needed to teach this. That, if you guys are curious, is why I wrote my book. The more self promo, the book I wrote. That was the sole fucking reason I wrote this book. Not because I wanted to make money off of it. I didn't even want to publish this thing. I just gave it to a couple people, and they were like, Keith, that's fucking awesome. Like, you got to publish that. That was a really insightful book. And I was like, I know. I wrote that shit. But that's why I know the Hermetic philosophy so well, and that's why I can dance around these subjects like it's the fucking Macarena. It's because I had to know it so well to write a book about it. Like, how do you... It's impossible for me to explain something in a brief amount of time because I get excited and I get carried away into tangents. I drift. I was being a drifter, you guys. My bad. Anywho, carrying on. First step, get the kids to teach instead of just constantly consuming, have them produce for once. As far as possible, organize all schoolwork into definite methods through which the student can learn by doing, and direct the classwork so that every student engages in some form of practical labor connected with the daily problems of life. Ideas are the beginning of all human achievement. Teach all students how to recognize practical ideas that may be of benefit in helping them acquire whatever they demand of life. Teach the students how to budget and use time. And above all, teach the truth that time is the greatest asset available to human beings and the cheapest. Notice how everyone in the spiritual community always talks about how time is an illusion. Time doesn't exist. Time is an illusion. Time doesn't exist. Time doesn't exist. Forget about time. There's only the now. Forget about the future. Forget about the past. It's all now. Time isn't real. The fuck out of here with that. Of course, time isn't real, but it's time is in yet. Of course, time is an illusion, but time is no more an illusion than you, right? Everything in existence is an illusion because if something is real, it has to be real forever. And oneness, whatever you want to call the infinite mind, the thing that we can't define because by definition it can't be defined, that thing is real. That's the substantial reality. That's the underlying realness from which everything rests upon. So you are an illusion technically. These candles are an illusion because they're going to be good. They're not always going to be here. Right? This bottle is an illusion. My thoughts are an illusion. Everything that comes and goes, everything that doesn't last forever is can be argued to be an illusion, including time. But the way New Agers and again these spiritual YouTubers talk about time and that it's almost useless is dangerous. Again, half truths are fucking dangerous. And that is a very dangerous one. Don't let them fool you into thinking that time is of no importance. Time is of utmost importance, you guys. Um, Carrying on. Teach the student the basic motives by which all people are influenced and show how to use these motives in acquiring the necessities and the luxuries of life. Teach children what to eat, how much to eat, and what is the relationship between proper eating and sound health. Teach children the true nature and function of the emotion of sex, and above all, teach them that it can be transmuted into a driving force capable of lifting one to great heights of achievement. Napoleon Hill is big on sex energy. I'm telling you, Napoleon Hill was into some shit and talks in depth about controlling sexual energy and how to use it for creating things, manifesting things, instead of just jacking off the porn all the time or slamming all the hoes or whatever it is that. Never mind. Um, Teach children to be definite in all things, beginning with the choice of a definite major purpose in life. Teach children the nature of and possibilities for good and evil and the principle of habit. Use as illustrations with which to dramatize the subject the everyday experiences of children and adults. Teach children how habits become fixed through the law of hypnotic rhythm and influence them to adopt, while in the lower grades, habits that would lead to independent thought. Teach children the difference between temporary defeat and failure, and show them how to search for the seed of an equivalent advantage which comes with every defeat. Teach children to express their own thoughts fearlessly and to accept or reject at will all ideas of others, reserving to themselves always the privilege of relying upon their own judgment. Teach children to reach decisions promptly and to change them, if at all slowly and with reluctance, and never without a definite reason. That's a good one. Teach children that the human brain is the instrument with which one receives from the great storehouse of nature, the energy which is specialized into definite thoughts. That the brain does not think, but serves as an instrument for the interpretation of stimuli which causes thought. Ooh, that's a good definition for the brain. I'm gonna run that back just because I liked it a lot. Um, Teach children that the human brain is the instrument with which one receives. So the brain is a receiver. I've heard that before, but not said like that. From the great storehouse of nature, the energy which is specialized into definite thoughts. That the brain does not think, but serves as an instrument for the interpretation of stimuli, which then causes thought. That's interesting. It's gonna take me a minute or two to wrap my head around that, but by the way, if you guys are just checking in, welcome. If you're new, introduce yourselves. What up? Welcome to the squad. Take your shoes off. Stay a while. Oh shit. Woo! That was close. Okay. Teach children the value of harmony in their own minds and that this is attainable only through self-control. Teach children the nature and the value of self-control. Teach children that there is a law of increasing returns which can be and should be put into operation as a matter of habit by rendering always more service and better service than is expected of them. That's from his book Laws of Success, which he says always give more than what you're actually paid for, and that basically exponentiates your success. Um, Teach children the true nature of the golden rule, and above all, show them that through the operation of this principle, everything they do to and for another, they do also to and for themselves. Teach children not to have opinions unless they are formed from facts or beliefs which may reasonably be accepted as facts. I fucking wish more people would listen to that last one. I'm gonna read that one again. Teach children Teach children not to have opinions unless they are formed from facts or beliefs which may reasonably be accepted as facts. Teach children that cigarettes, liquor, great, as I'm just fucking drinking wine. Teach children that cigarettes, liquor, narcotics, and overindulgence in sex destroy the power of will and lead to the habit of drifting. Do not forbid these evils, just explain them. Teach children the danger. Oh, that's actually really fucking crucial too. At the end of that, he says, "Do not forbid these evils, just explain them," which I find quite interesting, Sir Devil, that you would word it like that. Um, the devil says, "Don't forbid these evils," talking about liquor and cigarettes and overindulgence and sex, etc. He says, "Don't forbid them, just explain them." So imagine the energy shift. Right? Just I don't even have to have the conversation with my child, and I can already feel the shift of, oh, that conversation will go way different. Because then I don't know, but I feel like if you explain to someone the why, It would make more sense instead of the old fucking do as I say, not as I do, which drives me up the fucking wall when people say that. Do as I say, not as I do. I swear to bejesus. If there's one phrase that gets me angrier than that one, I'll give you a nickel for it. Give all y'all a nickel. There's like 7,000 subscribers on this channel. I'll give you all fucking 7,000 nickels. Because again, imagine you're talking to a child and you say, "Don't do that," and the kid's like, "Why?" Like, "Just don't do it." The kid's like, "Fuck you." Obviously, even a grown-ass adult is gonna be like, "Fuck you, tell me what to do." Why would a kid be any different? So like, hey, these are what these things do. Overindulgence in sex is gonna fuck you up in this way. Alcohol is gonna fuck you up in this way. Cigarettes is gonna fuck you up in this way. It's on you. I'm not owner of your life, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just a rebel, and someone says you can't do this. I do it anyways. I know kids in general do that, but maybe some of them don't. I just tend to not get caught for shit because I'm a sneaky motherfucker. But carrying on, teach children the danger of believing anything merely because their parents, religious instructors, or someone else says it so. Teach children to face facts, whether they are pleasant or unpleasant, without resorting to subterfuge or offering alibis. Teach children to encourage the use of their sixth sense through which ideas present themselves in their minds from unknown sources, and to examine all such ideas carefully. Teach children the full import of the law of compensation. Whoa, he wrote it out verbatim, just like the Hermetic philosophy. I fucking bet you, Napoleon Hill read the Kabbalion. It was published right in the heat, right in the thicket of his research. That book was published. I wouldn't doubt if he even wrote it himself. Teach the children. Teach children the full import of the law of compensation as it was interpreted by Ralph Waldo Emerson, and show them how the law works in the small, everyday affairs of life. Teach children that definiteness of purpose, backed by definite plans, persistently and continuously applied, is the most efficacious form of prayer available to human beings. Teach children that the space they occupy in the world is measured definitely by the quality and quantity of useful service they render to the world. Teach children there is no problem with which does not have an appropriate solution, and that the solution often may be found in the circumstance creating the problem. Teach children that their only real limitations are those which they set up or permit others to establish in their own minds. Teach them that man can achieve whatever man can conceive and believe. Teach children that all schoolhouses and all textbooks are elementary implements which may be helpful in the development of their minds, but that the only school of real value is the great university of life, wherein one has the privilege of learning from experience. Teach children to be true to themselves at all times, and since they cannot please everybody, therefore to do a good job of pleasing themselves. That's an important one. That is an imposing list, but it seems conspicuous by the fact it ignores practically every subject now taught in the public schools. Was that intended? Yes. You asked for a list of suggested changes in public school curricula which would benefit children. Well, that is what you got. Some of the changes you suggest are so unorthodox they would shock most of the educators of today, wouldn't they? Most of the educators of today need to be shocked. A good sound shock often helps the brain that has been atrophied by habit. Would the changes you suggest for the public schools give children immunity against the habit of drifting? Yes, that is one of the results the changes would bring, but there are others too. How could you, uh, oops, how could the suggested changes be forced into the public school system? You know, of course, it is as difficult to get a new idea into an educator's brain as it is to interest a religious leader in modifying religion, so it will help people to get more from life. The quickest way and surest way to force practical ideas into the public schools is to first introduce the ideas through private schools and establish such a demand for their use that public schools officials will be compelled to employ them. Should any other changes be made in the public school system? Yes, many. Among other changes needed in all public school programs is the addition of a complete course of training in the psychology of harmonious negotiation between people. All children should be taught how to sell their way through life with the minimum amount of friction. Every public school should teach the principles of individual achievement through which one may attain a position of financial independence. Classes should be abolished altogether. They should be replaced by the round table or conference system such as businessmen employ. All students should receive individual instruction and guidance in connection with subjects which cannot be properly taught in groups. Every school should have an auxiliary group of instructors consisting of business and professional people, scientists, artists, engineers, and newspapermen, each of whom would impart to all the students a practical working knowledge of his own profession, business, or occupation. This instruction should be conducted through the conference system to save the time of the instructors. What would you have suggested is, in effect, an auxiliary system of instruction that would give all school children a working knowledge of the practical affairs of life, direct from the original source? Is this the idea? You've stated it correctly. Let us dismiss the public school system and go back to the churches for a moment. All my life I have heard clergymen preaching against sin and warning sinners to beware and repent so they could be saved. But I have never heard any of them tell me what sin is. Will you give me some light on the subject? Sin is anything one does or thinks which causes one to be unhappy. Human beings who are in sound physical and spiritual health should be at peace with themselves and always happy. Any form of mental or physical misery indicates the presence of sin. Name some of the common forms of sin. It is a sin to overeat because that leads to ill health and misery. It is a sin to overindulge in sex because that breaks down one's willpower and leads to the habit of drifting. It is a sin to permit one's mind to be dominated by negative thoughts of envy, greed, fear, hatred, intolerance, vanity, self pity, or discouragement because these states of mind lead to the habit of drifting. It is a sin to cheat, lie, steal, because these habits destroy self respect, subdue one's conscience, and lead to unhappiness. It is a sin to remain in ignorance because that leads to poverty and loss of self reliance. It is a sin to accept from life anything one does not want because that indicates an unpardonable neglect to use the mind. Is it a sin for one to drift through life without definite aim, plan, or purpose? Yes, because this habit leads to poverty and destroys the privilege of self determination, and also deprives one of the privilege of using his own mind as a medium of contact with infinite intelligence. Are you the chief inspirer of sin? Yes. It is my business to gain control of the minds of people in every possible way. Can you control the mind of a person who commits no sin? I cannot, because that person never permits his mind to be dominated by any form of negative thought. I cannot enter the mind of one who never sins, let alone control it. What is the commonest and most destructive of all sins? Fear and ignorance. Have you nothing else to add to the list? There's nothing else to be added. What is faith? It is a state of mind wherein one recognizes and uses the power of positive thought as a medium by which one contacts and draws upon the universal store of infinite intelligence at will. In other words, faith is the absence of all forms of negative thought. Yes. Yes, that is another way of describing it. Has a drifter the capacity to use faith? He may have the capacity, but he does not use it. Everyone has the potential power to clear his mind of all negative thoughts and thereby avail himself to the power of faith. Stating the matter in another way, faith is definiteness of purpose backed by belief in the attainment of the object of the purpose. Is that correct? That's the idea exactly. Well, that was a chapter. Let's read the last question one more time. I feel you ended it with that for a reason. So, stating the matter in another way, faith is definiteness of purpose backed by belief in the attainment of the object of that purpose. Is that correct? That's the idea. That's the idea exactly. Damn, you guys, that was probably the longest live I've ever done. Shit. Those of you that made it to the end, y'all are the real MVPs. If you just checked in, you an MVP too. Thanks for being here. If you haven't subscribed yet, you should do so now. There is no better time than the present. I hope you enjoyed it all. I'm reading your guys' cool comments. Serene, I consider the mundane to be magical. I agree. The mundane, especially in a couple doses of the old loose loo. But back with my organic plant matter. What up, alchemy? Thanks for all the promo and all. Thanks for the book review, John Smith. Appreciate that. Sunda. Damn, sorry, I'm like spacing on you guys. Catching up. I love reading your guys' comments. So we're done with the reading. If you want to check out, you can chill in here and bullshit with me for the next 10, 15 minutes or so if you want, because it'll probably be another 10 to 15 before I log out. But if you do check out, I love you guys. Peace out. If you are sticking around, let me smoke some oregano or drink some water or something. Have some of your tea. Yeah, you guys are commenting a lot on the doing things with the kids. I don't have fucking kids. I haven't. I mean, I have a 5-year-old child, but that's pretty much negligible as far as raising him. I basically just keep him alive at this. And I don't even do that much. His mom basically just keeps him alive at this point. So I'm sure I'll hit my own roadblocks when he gets of age, but yeah, I am enjoying the dialogue though. John Smith asked, when creating our own reality, how are we doing that if we have to follow the way things are done by everyone else? Math, English, science. We follow their rules, so how is that our reality? That's a good question. It's a good question. How are we creating our own reality for following the rules of others? Well, what I think scientists are doing um, is scientists, in theory, though this doesn't always play out as it should, especially when money and ego is involved. Scientists disregard dogma, which is basically taking anything verbatim. Science uses science is patterns, right? All science is basically the study of patterns. You study the science of rocks, and this in the science of rocks geology, they'll say these rocks tend to do this, and these rocks tend to do that, and diamonds tend to be created by pressure. And quartz tend to have hexagonal structures like this, and tendencies, patterns. Um, Psychologists that study the mind, they go, okay, humans tend to have these sorts of thoughts under these sorts of conditions. Of course, there's outliers and variations, but for the most part, they tend, right? Um, so that's why I think we can follow science, unless it's been overrun by dogma, because there's, of course, scientific dogma, right? Like the earth was flat one day, and that was part of the scientific dogma. Despite evidence presented, they were like, no, that can't be true. That can't be true, right? So there's a certain amount of closed offness in science that should not be overlooked, which is why we should question science too, which is why people do question science. That's why something has to be received by a majority of the scientific community before it even gets written about in textbooks and shit. But that being said, I wouldn't throw out the baby with the bathwater on this one, John Smith, when it comes to following science and creating your own reality, because um, because science has done a lot of work for us. Um, right? We can calculate the movement of the heavens. Like if you really wanted to, you could buy a book and read it from front to back and teach yourself physics. Buy yourself a telescope and predict lunar eclipses and shit. Now, it took 4,000 plus years of. Actually, that's debatable too, because some ancient civilizations could predict solar eclipses and shit. Well, fuck, I don't. That's crazy, actually. Never mind, that just went to shit. Basically, you can consolidate thousands of years in knowledge from reading one book, given it's a good book, and that helps a lot. That means you don't have to spend your whole life trying to figure out problems that have already been solved. You can use those answers to answer even bigger questions, to solve bigger problems. And yeah, hope that answers. Oh, thank you, Isis. I'm glad you like my voice. Um, my child's name is Atlas, little baby boy Atlas. Damn, that bowl of noodles that I just ate was my last one. So pray for me. Where's cheese puffs and pepinos? That sounds delicious. I named him Atlas because Ariana, his mom, was hitting me with tons of baby names, and I was like, nah, 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 weak sauce, nah. And then for some reason, I don't know if she was in a particular spot or what happened, but she sent me like 5 names, and all of them I was thinking, damn, these are all really cool names. And Atlas was one of them. And I had read a book called Atlas Shrugged a while ago that for some reason stuck with me. I always think about it to this day. I think of that book, Atlas Shrugged. And I understand it's received a ton of criticism, but whatevs. But on top of that, I just, everything about it, it's simple but strong. Not too fucking crazy. People are getting weird with their names these days. Like Surefire, Star Fox, Running Grass, Born in Fields. They're cool, but I wasn't trying to be too ridiculous about it. So, Atlas is dope. Plus, it's super unique. I love Greek mythology and ancient shit, obviously. So, it fit. So, Baby Mama basically dropped a banger for Baby Atlas. And, yeah. You wouldn't know me. We're all drawn to the channel like moths to the flame. Spooky, spooky, spooky. No, I'm just kidding, but thanks. I'm glad you found yourself here. Ciao, Firmino. How's it going, man? Or woman? I don't know. Yeah, Atlas was a Titan. So it's cracking, you guys. Be good. I'm about to log out in a couple minutes here. Unless you have anything of dire importance. Oh yeah. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Can I speak any other languages other than English? I wish. Nah. I can say a lot of stuff in Spanish, but I can't speak it. Unfortunately not. Yeah, peace, Phoenix. Thanks for stopping by while you did. It is much appreciated as per usual. Ooh, one last thing. Who's got the dream drops out there? Is anyone on the live right now that's got the dream drops? Because if you do, we're about to dose up right now. Oh, fuck. What was that? There we go. You wouldn't know me. We have a lot. Just ask John Smith. We have a ton of hours racked up. I suggest the Kabbalion a lot of the times, because when I'm talking and I'm making the connections that I'm making, most of the time I'm pulling from the Kabbalion, which is mostly the structure of what the philosophy, you know. But also do whatever the hell you want. If something else strikes you, then definitely go with that. Oh, nice. Wouldn't you know me? Or you would know me? Or you do know me? We know each other. We're old friends. Anywho, oh, we're dreaming tonight, y'all. Wow. That's how you know it's working. Hey, how's the taupe? What's cracking? We're about to log out though, but I love that you commented. What's up? Introduce yourself. Say hello. Everyone say what's up to House of Taupe. Isis Lene. Nasia means good night. Nasia. Nasia. I like that. Nasia. Good time. Bet you can, John. Holy hopscotch. I'm doing good, but I'm tired, so I'm logging out. But thanks for being here, y'all. And who knows? Maybe I'll even go live tomorrow and surprise you guys with 2 back-to-back live days. Or maybe not. It's called Purple Moon. Some California Merlot. Because that's how we do it. All right, love you guys. Thanks for the support. Hit the like button. Remember, go like all my other videos so we can hit our goal of 10,000 subscribers in a couple months. Because I'm tired of making chump change. Trying to make a chump change online. I'm trying to do it big. And I'll talk to you guys soon, all right? Oh.